So hello there, Rosemary Mill, Rosie or Rose. Very good of you to join us today because you were tied for sixth place in our 28-day challenge that's just been completed and just been judged. So, well,
Thank you.
lovely that you've come on. And what I was really interested in, having watched your before and after video, for those of you that aren't quite sure what's going on here, when they start the 28-day challenge, which is quite a lot of work, it's about 5,000 words to get through and a lot of short videos to help people understand what they need to do if they find it hard to see a stride. We don't mind that. We rather encourage that. We just want them to really understand the quality of canter they need, out of which a horse can find any stride he needs. And the first thing they do if they want to join the challenge and win a whopping prize is to do a before video, and then 28 days later they do an after. And Rosie, when you started, you did a very slow canter, and you said that that was exactly how you were at the beginning. And then by the time you finished, you've got the whole thing moved up a gear and things where he looked or she looked really happy, trundling along and jumping, not big fence at all, but just beautifully out of the stride, and the whole thing looked really good, and you looked in a lovely, safe, ready for trouble seat, and the balance was super. So really what I'm interested for you to tell us, Rosie, is what you felt you gained from studying those many words, from looking those many videos, from having our weekly questions and answers, and also we have a weekly masterclass, don't we? So we have quite a lot of input in those 28 days. What did you feel you gathered from it?
For me, I mean, I really lost my confidence, and so what it was you gave a load of exercises that didn't involve a fence.
Yeah.
So actually, you felt pre-armed before going to a fence. It was like, I mean, in my training, I'd made the fence was like this behemoth, and it was all about do you know what I mean? And
Yes.
it was all about the fence. And but then, like doing the rough ground training, and it was so great. I don't even have to go anywhere near a fence. I can learn like getting all this balance and everything without even having to meet a fence.
Yeah.
And for me, that was brilliant. And like doing the exercise where you've got your hands above your head and
But
your
when you're standing up,
yeah, standing.
and did you do that?
Yes. Yeah.
And
I'm still doing
spook.
it. Sorry?
Did he spook?
No, thankfully she
Yeah,
didn't.
well, that
But,
is lucky.
yeah, she is a spooky horse. But for those occasions, she actually hasn't done. And thank you to her.
Rosie, did you ever get into trot, or did you keep it in walk?
No, I did get into trot, and
Yeah.
but I mean, I definitely was good. I did, but I definitely lost my balance a lot more.
So this,
So
for those of you that
kind
are
of
watching, is a fabulous exercise I do, especially when I haven't been riding for a bit and I want to stretch everything and try and get my balance, because I find now I'm older, I lose my balance much quicker when I haven't ridden for a bit. So stand in the stirrups and you're trying to be straight. You're not allowed to lean forward because that's a bit too easy. And you put your hands out to the side, but first you've got to make sure your horse is happy and doesn't shoot away. And then gradually, when you manage to fall back in the saddle several times, and then eventually you manage to stay standing in your stirrups with your arms out, and you don't fall back in the saddle, and you're pretty upright. You mustn't be leaning forward because that's too easy. Then we try and put them above the head again. Be careful, because some horses find it quite worrying when there are things moving in the periphery of their vision. And then you do that lots of times in walk, wherever you dare, but be careful if the pheasant jumps up. And then you dare to do it in trot, that's altogether more difficult. And I found myself collapsing onto their back many times before I could keep my balance. But you find that helped you just get over the fear of all the funny movements under you that a jump creates?
yeah. It was just like it was something else to do other than think about the jump. So, like I say, I mean, the jump seemed to be like this horrific thing, and you know what I mean? It was like, oh, I've got to get it right. But then it was all these different exercises that you didn't have to get the jump right. You just had to work on all these other things, and you didn't have to. It just took the jump out of the equation,
No,
and
that's
I love that
yeah.
because I mean I kept on thinking, oh, the jump must be big, and that was the other thing. You kept saying about make the jump small, have fun. So even when I did start going right, oh, well, I better get over another one of these jumps. It wasn't. It wasn't like this big fearful thing. It was like make a playground of jumps of crumbs. I think they were maybe 1'6", you
That's
know,
that,
and it was great.
and suddenly it becomes fun because it really doesn't matter how they jump when it's
Yeah,
1.6, and they can always get over. And if they stop, they can walk over one foot and then another. And you start to realize that actually you can have fun doing what was scaring you. So
yeah,
it's just lovely to hear you put that all into words, because I don't often find I can put it into words. It's really lovely that you felt the rough ground training and the
oh,
different
great.
things that we get you to do, the different gears in canter and all that. But it took your mind off the thing that was the biggest problem in your
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
Actually not. And were you worried before you started the stride challenge? Were you
Oh,
that you might not come in on the right stride and that it all might go wrong because of that?
yeah. That my first video, my friend actually had to really persuade me to do it, and she actually thought that I was going to bottle it all together. And I think the jump's only 65 centimeters, maybe.
Yeah,
And but I'd circled it about 10 times, and and she just said, just do it. And I was like, oh, and I just felt choked, to be totally honest.
yeah,
Um, and then that's, I mean, you can probably see how I even rode to it and everything. I'm not saying I felt entirely brave the next, like when I took my after video, which was 28 days later, or
yeah,
maybe a bit longer than that. But I just felt more armed. It was like, here are all the tools. You're as safe as you ever can be.
yeah.
Now it's like turn the responsibility over to your horse. You get all this right, and your horse will get that bit right.
Yeah.
And she did, and it just felt brilliant. I did just do 2 of them though, and I went, "That's it." And,
I mean, that's an enormous ghost laid or slain, isn't it? When you think where you were when you started,
oh, huge.
but you had the confidence because your first video was so slow. That's why you got put away from the top 5, because you were too slow into
Yeah.
it.
Oh, it's
I
petrifying.
understand exactly why, especially now I've chatted to you. And then when I saw the next one, I thought, well, she absolutely deserves to be top of the 5 below the
Oh,
top.
well, thank you.
Absolutely got the beat and the momentum and did a beautiful jump. Got a lovely position too. You got a really lovely natural position, and you
Oh,
don't.
thank you.
You're about to fall off at any minute, even if you feel it.
Oh, well, thank
So
you.
I think that's why you got to the top of the, if you like it, the second division, because
No,
there was quite a few hundred left behind who didn't even get into the top 10, as you can imagine. So
no.
you did incredibly well to get so far. And hope
Um,
I think you get $100 or something. Did you? Did you share?
yeah, yeah. And actually, see, when I started the challenge as well, I mean, I definitely didn't think I was going to get anywhere, but I thought I need to, and this is how I felt, I need to make myself do this, and I need the deadline to make myself look at the video in a timely fashion, do the exercise in a time. It was actually just to make myself do it. And so I mean, do you know, even when I read down the list of 10 names, I just went, oh well. And I actually was about to go on to something else, and something I went, it's my name.
Love it.
And I mean, honestly, that was honestly what I was like. I couldn't believe it. And
Oh,
because,
that's great.
I wasn't exactly the bravest person 28 days later,
Yeah.
but it just felt so much better. I mean, really so much better. It was just like, it's almost like it shouldn't be like see a stride challenge for the person. It should be let your horse see the stride. Let
Yeah.
the horse do the seeing.
Yes,
You know, and that
watching.
it's just like,
That,
yeah, it's like it's
yeah.
their responsibility. But it's like all the things beforehand. It was almost like I had then. It was just like, well, you've been given all the tools to do this, so now just let your horse go ahead and get the job done.
I
Because
love
now it's your responsibility. It's the pony's, that my horse's responsibility to do that. And she's quirky.
it.
So, but I felt as safe as I could be on her.
And I must say, it's very rewarding after all the work we put into presenting this. It's very rewarding to hear that you really picked out exactly what I wanted to resonate with your feelings of not being overconfident. And this is you've picked out all the things that I feel I wanted to put in there to help
Oh, brilliant.
weren't feeling so confident. So it's really rewarding to hear you chatting about it. And I really congratulate you. Especially interesting to me is that you felt the time constraints of the challenge was actually what helped spur you on.
Yeah.
And if we just said, here's the challenge and pay your whatever it is, $98 or whatever, and see you later. Because you had this time thing and you had to come in on the, or you didn't have to, but you could come in on the masterclasses each week and the questions, and you were sort of kept up to the mark. Right? I'm interested in one thing, because one or two people, maybe more than one or two, said, do we have to do the challenge? And the challenge, for those of you who didn't read it up, and I'm sure that's masses, was a $10,000 prize pot and $5,000 to the one who came in top, judged by some very, very high level judges from the event world. And one or two people said, do we have to do it? And so we, way you can work through the challenge with us on the masterclasses and question and answers, but you do not have to do the competition and the before and after video, which is all the competition was, if you don't want to. So I'm wondering if that spurred you on, or if that slightly frightened you, the fact of the
Probably. Well, I mean, I never thought I was going to get anywhere. So actually, it didn't even figure in my,
well, yeah,
you know what I mean? I didn't. It's like it wasn't even in my psyche or anything.
yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't even. Didn't even figure.
But you jolly well put the entry in, and all credit to you for doing it. And it got you nearly your entry fee back. So that's really,
Yeah.
really, that did get your entry fee back. So I think if there was maybe a little bit of a difficult question, this, but you've more or less told me that you had this problem with your confidence all along. Was there any particular thing that you were fighting because something had gone wrong? Did you have a moment when you were quite confident and then something went wrong and produced this doubt? Not during a challenge, but back in your
previously.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a weird thing. It's probably more for riders' minds and things like that. But not there wasn't anything major. And it wasn't even anything to do with horse riding. I mean, a couple of things went wrong in my horse riding, but I think when things, when sort of maybe negative things happen in your life, and there was a multitude of them, and so then it's almost like this chipping away of
very,
your
very well
confidence
put.
altogether.
You're not trained in any way in psychology or psychiatry, are you?
No.
You have a very, very good grasp of exactly what happens. Life intervenes and shocks or sometimes even shatters on a horse when your problem has been nothing to do with horses. It's just been a life incident or several.
Yeah. I mean, years and years and years ago, I did break my pelvis coming off a horse, but I don't think that's not right. I carried on riding after that, and bigger jumps than I'm doing. I've never been a big jumper, but larger jumps that I'm doing at the moment. So now I'm actually trying. This is ridiculous, but I'm trying to get confident to go back and do an 80. And that, you know what I mean. So it's like that. It just seems so ridiculous, when you
not at all. Just never, ever feel that about your own mountains that you're climbing, because everybody's mountain to them is a mountain. And just remember where you've come from. You were able to happily jump that. And then you had the life incidents that knocked your confidence. So then you really had to start again. And trying to aim to get back to that 80 mountain is really a super, super aim to have. And never, ever feel belittled just because your aim doesn't happen to be a meter 10.
Badminton.
Or badminton, exactly. I think that's what I love about horses, that they present a challenge that is almost different to every single person.
Yeah, definitely.
And you take the challenge that suits you and away you go. And if you achieve that top of the mountain, it gives you so much that life incidents, as we've discussed, has taken away at some point or another. And you can get so much back from this chip, as you described it so beautifully.
Yeah.
So huge congratulations. I'm really thrilled for you. And if we did it, we will do it again. We wouldn't expect you all to come rushing back, because it will be the same challenge. But would it be helpful for you to do it again, or would you like to go on to a different sort of challenge?
I think so. I think probably doing the same things over and over and over is because I'm still doing them now. I'm still doing the stretching thing and all that, because it's like, well, go back, keep going back, and just keep.
You mean the hands up?
Yeah.
Yes.
I never actually got to put both hands up because.
Don't worry, you're doing very well with one.
Well, she's a bit because I had to just be a little bit careful because she is quirky.
Yeah.
But for me, it's keep on revisiting these. I mean, other people who've maybe done, who have got more ambition, maybe they would like something else. So maybe some of the other people that you're going to speak to tonight might say, oh, well, actually, we'd like to now step up to
Move on.
1.50 meters or whatever. But for
Right.
me, well, you know what I mean? But just for me at the moment, it's just like, it's enough for me at the moment. And actually, I was thinking about the thing that I found most difficult, and the thing that I keep on practicing and practicing and practicing is, you know, when you've got people doing the tiny canter,
Yes.
don't move. You
Yeah.
just stay in your galloping position.
Yeah.
That I find so difficult, to not want to do something.
Yes, I'm
But
back.
that's what I keep on really, really going back to. Keep doing that. And I did it today, just over, I mean, God, maybe they were 1 foot high, but
They
just
don't
that.
want to be big, because if they're bigger, you start to think, I've got to do something.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
they're really small, you can stay in that forward seat. Please don't fall off, because you're much
Yeah.
nearer falling off.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
But I love doing it because it's against all my instincts. All my instincts are to get
Yeah.
in a bit of a trouble seat before I get near it. No, I'm going to stay in my galloping seat, jumping 1 foot in the same tiny
Yeah.
contour
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And
It's so difficult.
really brilliant. All these funny little things that I can hardly explain why they help so much, but they really do.
Yeah, they do.
Couldn't be happier to talk to you, Rosie, and thank you so much for coming on, and well done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.